Hello and welcome to our next on-location video here in Ridgeway State Park, Colorado. And we're here on the lake today, and you can see in the background, maybe, it's pretty far in the distance from this camera, but we can see it pretty close. You got the snow-capped Rocky Mountains in the middle of July, but it looks refreshing. It doesn't feel very refreshing because down here on the lake it is hot. Feels like it's 100 degrees, but we're having fun, and God's beautiful creation reminded me of Genesis chapter 1, where on the third day it says, "Then God said, let the waters below the firmament be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of waters he called seas. Then God said, and God saw that it was good. Then God said, let the earth sprout grass, herbs yielding seed, fruit trees bearing fruit after its kind, and which is its seed on the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, herbs yielding seed after its kind, and trees bearing fruit, in which is its seed after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the third day." Now, this is describing, of course, the actual creation of the heavens and the earth and the seas and all the rest of it. However, prophetically speaking, it's a picture or type of what's going to happen during the third millennium. Remember, in the Bible, it says that with God, each day is like unto 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like unto one day. And so that first day of creation is representative of what happens in the third millennium, which is Israel is formed through Abraham first, of course. He is called out of the Ur of the Chaldees to be the chosen person to bring forth the nation of Israel, which their ultimate purpose was to bring forth the Messiah himself, Jesus. Jesus is the ultimate representation of Israel. That's why it says in Hosea, "Out of Egypt I have called my son, Israel," and of course it's speaking directly of Jesus Christ as the ultimate representation and fulfillment of that prophecy. And so as we see that, we see on the third day, we see that God has the dry land form out of the midst of the seas. So just like we had in the third millennium, we have Israel form out of the midst of the Gentile nations, or of the Chaldees. We have the same exact picture is prominent in the third millennium. So with the third millennium being, we have Jacob, who is the 22nd from Adam, just like the Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters in it. We have 22 generations from Adam to Israel when the law came into being, and the nation that was going to bring forth the law, and also the nation that was going to bring forth the Messiah, who would bring forth grace, so that we're not judged under the condemnation of the law. And so when you see that picture, you see what happens on the third day of creation speaks to what would happen in the third day of creation's history. And of course, this can all be found in detail in my book, Creation's Week. You can see I have a entire playlist on my channel here on Creation's Week, a macrocosm of Creation Week. That's what it is. That's the name of the book. And I have a bunch of videos on this channel where you can research that further. And so when you see also, this is one of the days where there's a double blessing. There's a double blessing because God says it was good, and then he says it was good again because then the land always represents Israel prophetically. Like in the book of Revelation, you have the angel put his foot down on the land and one foot on the sea. It's a picture of how he's taking authority over Israel and the nations, the Gentiles. And so notice that in Genesis chapter 1, on the third day, you have fruitfulness. The land becomes fruitful and starts to bear fruit. And so this is a picture of how Israel would be fruitful in the sense that they would bring forth the Messiah, who would actually bring in the real harvest of fruitfulness through the church age, and then ultimately Israel through the tribulation period and the tribulation saints. That's all in the prophetic future, the prophetic destiny of what we're all anticipating in the very near future. And that fruitfulness is bringing forth resurrection children. So Israel was fruitful in the natural, of course, because by the time King David came around, after Israel and his 12 sons formed the 12 tribes, which formed a loose confederation of tribes ruling and reigning over the land of Canaan, what had been Canaan, and became Israel. Then you have King David federate those tribes into one unified nation, a kingdom, and that is another picture or type of Christ, and how he is going to one day soon rule and reign from Jerusalem, Israel. So I hope you've enjoyed this on location video, and we will see you in